What if the youngest, most powerful person in the White House found themselves in a situation that no one saw coming? Karoline Leavitt, the new White House press secretary, known for her sharp mind and leadership, is caught in a legal battle. It seems like a small issue at first, but when the judge finds her, he's in for a surprise. Because Karoline isn't just a political aide, she's a legal genius. Wait until you see how she flips the script. Stick around to see how it all unfolds. Before we continue, let us know where are you watching from. Drop a comment below and let's dive right into it. Karoline Leavitt, the youngest ever White House press secretary at just 36, has always been in the spotlight for her sharp mind and political skills. But what most people don't realize is that her brilliance goes beyond the podium. Karoline is a legal genius, and today she's about to show just how much she knows. When Karoline finds herself facing a fine in court, most expect it to be a quick, easy case, just another political figure paying the price. The judge assumes she'll plead guilty and move on. But Karoline doesn't play by those rules. She surprises everyone by challenging the case, using legal arguments and knowledge no one expected. The judge, who's seen it all, quickly realizes he's underestimated her. Karoline isn't just a press secretary, she's a force in the courtroom. What started as a simple fine becomes a battle of wits, with Karoline proving she's not only brilliant in politics but in the law, too. Karoline Leavitt was no stranger to pressure. As the youngest ever White House press secretary, she had handled some of the toughest situations in the political world. But when she found herself in a courtroom facing a fine, no one knew just how prepared she was for this. At first, the judge assumed it would be a simple case. A fine, a quick ruling, and everyone would go home. But Karoline wasn't there to settle this quickly. She wasn't about to just accept the fine and move on. What the judge didn't know was that Karoline wasn't only sharp with words in press conferences. She had a deep understanding of the law, too. The courtroom was calm and the judge seemed confident. He was ready to move forward, assuming Karoline wouldn't fight back. But as soon as she began speaking, the judge realized this case wasn't going to be as easy as he thought. Karoline didn't just sit there and take it. She questioned every part of the case against her, using legal arguments and knowledge that caught the judge off guard. The judge's confidence started to slip. Karoline wasn't just defending herself. She was showing how flawed the case was. The more she spoke, the more it became clear. Karoline wasn't just the press secretary. She knew her legal stuff inside and out. With each point she made, the judge's assumptions about her were shattered. Her arguments were clear, precise, and backed up by real legal knowledge that most people wouldn't expect from someone in her position. The judge tried to push back, but Karoline was relentless. Every time he tried to dismiss her arguments, she countered with facts, citing precedents, and challenging every aspect of the case. The courtroom atmosphere shifted. The judge, once in control, was now questioning his own decisions. The fine, which had seemed like a minor issue at the start, had become a much bigger challenge. Karoline's calm and collected demeanor made it even more apparent. This wasn't just about winning a case for her. It was about proving that she wasn't someone to be underestimated. The judge, who thought he knew all the answers, now found himself second-guessing his approach. Karoline's sharp mind had turned the tables in a way that no one, not even the judge, expected. As the case went on, Karoline Leavitt's confidence only grew. The courtroom had shifted from a simple fine to a full-blown legal battle. She wasn't just defending herself anymore. She was proving something bigger, that even someone who had been underestimated could turn the tables and come out on top. The judge, who had thought he could easily rule in favor of the fine, was now completely caught off guard. He had expected Karoline to accept the fine, not to fight back with the precision of a legal expert. But that's exactly what she did. With each new point she raised, Karoline revealed a side of herself no one had expected. She wasn't just the face of the White House. She was a force in the courtroom, and it was clear to everyone watching. Her arguments weren't just convincing, they were rock solid. Every piece of evidence she presented, every case law she cited, made it harder and harder for the judge to ignore what she was saying. The judge had been prepared to simply dismiss the fine and move on, but now he found himself questioning everything. His previous assumptions about Karoline had been completely wrong. She wasn't just a press secretary, she was a legal strategist who had been hiding her true skills all along. As Karoline spoke, the entire courtroom began to feel the shift. The atmosphere, which had once been calm and routine, was now charged with tension. People were beginning to realize that Karoline wasn't just defending herself, she was making a statement. She was showing everyone that no matter who you are or what your background is, you have the power to challenge the system. She wasn't just fighting for her own reputation, she was fighting to prove that intelligence and preparation could win any battle, even one no one saw coming. And then the moment of truth arrived. Karoline, having presented her case perfectly, now stood before the judge, waiting for his final decision. The room was silent, and all eyes were on the judge. He knew the legal side of the case was stacked against him. Karoline's legal mind had turned his easy ruling into a complicated issue, and now he had to make a choice. His ego was bruised, but the truth was undeniable. Karoline had outsmarted him, and there was no easy way to ignore that. As the judge sat there in silence, Karoline waited. The whole room held its breath, unsure of what was coming next. The tension was thick. For a moment it seemed like time stood still. Finally the judge spoke. "Miss Leavitt," he began, his voice heavy with recognition, "I must admit, I underestimated you." The words weren't easy for him to say, but they were true. The judge paused, then continued. "Based on the points you've raised and the evidence you've presented, I'm ruling in your favor. The fine is dismissed." The courtroom erupted, in quiet shock. Karoline had done it. She had won not just the case but respect from everyone in the room. The judge, who had walked in thinking he would easily dismiss her case, now had to acknowledge her brilliance. Karoline wasn't just another politician. She was someone who had used her intelligence to turn a courtroom full of assumptions upside down. For Karoline, this wasn't just about winning a case. It was about proving that no one should be judged based on their role or title. She'd shown the world that with enough preparation, knowledge, and determination, anyone could succeed, no matter what others thought of them. The fine was a small matter compared to the message Karoline had just sent. She wasn't here just to play the game. She was here to change the rules. Just when everyone thought Karoline had won, the plot thickened. The judge, who had initially been caught off guard by her sharp legal mind, was left to process the unexpected turn of events. It seemed like the case was wrapped up, with Karoline walking away victorious. But then, the judge dropped a revelation that no one saw coming. "You've proven your case in ways I didn't expect," he said, his tone shifting. "But there's more to this than just a fine." The courtroom was silent. Karoline stood there, poised but confused. She thought the case was over. She had already won. But now it was clear the judge wasn't done. The revelation left everyone in the room on edge. The judge continued, telling Karoline that he had been watching her closely, and he wasn't just impressed by her legal arguments. He had seen something else in her, something that went beyond the case at hand. "Your legal brilliance," he said, "isn't just impressive, it's undeniable. But what's even more shocking is that you've done something I never expected. You've proven that anyone, regardless of their background, can challenge the system and win." The words hung in the air. It wasn't just about the fine anymore. It was about something much deeper. Karoline wasn't just a press secretary or a politician. She was a force to be reckoned with in the legal world, and the judge had finally realized it. Karoline's heart raced. She had known she was good, but this was something else. Her unexpected brilliance had not only turned the tide in the case, but had also left the judge rethinking his entire perspective. She wasn't just winning a case, She was winning respect in a world where she had been underestimated for far too long. The judge went on to reveal that the fine wasn't the issue anymore. In fact, he was dismissing it altogether. But that wasn't the most surprising part. What really shook the courtroom was his decision to commend Karoline publicly for her legal skills. "Karoline," the judge said, "your ability to turn the case around is something I've never seen before. I've ruled on cases for years, but this one is different. Your knowledge of the law has earned my respect. I'll be recommending you for an opportunity that's much bigger than any fine or courtroom judgment." Karoline's mind raced. What was he saying? He wasn't just dismissing the case, he was offering her something that could change her entire future. The revelation was a twist she didn't see coming. The judge wasn't just impressed by her legal skills, he was opening a door to something far greater. Everyone in the room was left speechless. The case had gone from a simple legal matter to something much bigger, a turning point for Karoline. This wasn't just about her defending herself, this was about her proving her true worth. The legal world had underestimated her, but now they were forced to recognize her talent. As the judge made his decision final, Karoline stood in stunned silence. She had just proven that no one, no matter their role or background, should ever be underestimated. The twist wasn't just about winning the case, it was about showing the world that sometimes the most unexpected people can have the most profound impact. And Karoline, she had just begun to make her mark. The courtroom was still, the weight of Karoline's victory hanging in the air. Karoline Leavitt had just done the unthinkable. She had not only outsmarted a seasoned judge but also turned a minor legal case into a moment of profound change. As the judge delivered his final verdict, dismissing the fine and commending her for her brilliant legal mind, Karoline couldn't help but reflect on what this moment truly meant. It wasn't just about beating a fine or getting out of a sticky situation. It was about showing the world that no matter where you come from, no matter how others perceive you, your intellect and drive can redefine your future. Karoline wasn't just a political figure anymore. She had become an example of perseverance and unexpected brilliance. For so long, she had been defined by her political role. Her position as the youngest White House press secretary had often overshadowed her other talents. But in that courtroom, Karoline proved something far greater than her ability to handle a press conference. She had proven that knowledge isn't limited to one space or one person's career. Her legal skills, her determination, and her ability to think on her feet had been underestimated by everyone, even by the judge himself. The real victory wasn't in the ruling itself, but in the ripple effect it would create. Karoline had shown that intelligence isn't confined to certain roles. It doesn't matter if you're in politics, law, or any other field. If you have the drive and the knowledge, you can succeed. Karoline's victory was a lesson for anyone who's ever felt overlooked or underestimated. It was a reminder that your potential is not defined by others' perceptions of you. For the judge, Karoline's success had opened his eyes. He had walked into that courtroom assuming it would be a simple case, expecting Karoline to do what most public figures would do, pay the fine, move on. But what he didn't expect was that Karoline had far more to offer than just her role as a spokesperson for the White House. Her legal expertise caught him off guard, and by the end of the case, he had no choice but to commend her publicly. His final words were not just a ruling on a case, they were an acknowledgement of Karoline's undeniable ability. For Karoline, this victory meant a lot more than just legal success. It was about reshaping how people saw her and how people in general are viewed based on their positions. Too often, people are reduced to their job titles, their roles, or their backgrounds. But Karoline's story showed that what you do and who you are far more important than the labels others place on you. She wasn't just a press secretary, she was a force in the legal world, and now everyone knew it. As Karoline left the courtroom, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride, not just for her legal victory, but for the doors she had opened, not just for herself, but for others who would be inspired by her story. She had shown that anyone could rise above the expectations placed on them. And, more importantly, she had shown that one moment, one case, could change everything. The case wasn't just a win for Karoline. It was a reminder to everyone that sometimes the most unexpected people have the power to change the narrative. Whether it's in the courtroom, the office, or any field you're in, it's the knowledge, the heart, and the persistence that matter the most. And Karoline's story proved that sometimes you need to go beyond what people expect of you to make a real impact. So, what happens when someone defies the odds, surprises everyone, and takes control of their own destiny? Karoline Leavitt's story isn't just about winning a legal case, it's about breaking barriers, proving your worth, and challenging the limits that others place on you. After all, she didn't just fight a fine in a courtroom. She fought against expectations, stereotypes, and assumptions, and came out on top. For Karoline, this moment was about much more than just legal brilliance. It was about proving that anyone, no matter their position, can rise above the labels others try to put on them. We all have something inside us that can surprise the world, if we're just given the chance to show it. Karoline wasn't just a political figure or a spokesperson. She showed that being underestimated is something you can use to your advantage. She showed that your true potential can shine when you least expect it. And sometimes, all it takes is a moment to reveal that. But here's the real question. Have you ever felt like the odds were stacked against you? Have you ever been told that you couldn't do something simply because of your position or background? Karoline's story is a reminder that no matter where you start or what people expect from you, your potential isn't defined by others. It's up to you to show the world what you're really capable of. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced a situation where you defied expectations? Or have you ever felt like you were about to be counted out but turned it around in the end? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. If Karoline's story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that challenge the status quo. There's so much more to come, so make sure you stay tuned and join the conversation.